During a protocol event in central Moscow, Putin experienced an awkward moment that dealt a heavy blow to Russian propaganda and to Putin personally. A girl named Kira, invited to the ceremony as the child of a special operation hero, publicly complained that her uncle, wounded at the front, was being sent back to the war zone without treatment. After the official part, several children were brought up to Putin. Suddenly, a girl broke the carefully planned scenario and said something no one expected to hear on live television. "My uncle is at the front right now. He was wounded in the arm. He was in the hospital, but they're not treating him. Now they're sending him on a mission. I'd like him to be transferred to a good hospital in Russia," the child said. The Kremlin's PR people, who carefully control the flow of inconvenient information to the media and Putin, especially in front of cameras, failed to take into account that a child is capable of asking a direct and pointed question. Putin's face registered confusion. He looked flustered and blurted out a clumsy, "We'll find him, okay? We definitely will. Thank you for remembering him. Good job." But at the moment, millions of Russians literally saw live on television that Russian soldiers were being crippled not only by war, but also by their own state. As Russian and independent telegram channels note, such incidents are occurring en masse. The wounded are evacuated from hospitals without receiving full treatment and immediately sent back to the trenches. Many of them return to the front with unhealed wounds, fractures, and even gangrene. These people are often unable to hold weapons and fail medical examinations, yet still find themselves in new meat assaults. They're simply picked up from the hospital, loaded into transport, and taken back to Donetsk or Kupiansk. Military bloggers write, Kira's remark was the most awkward moment for Putin in months. Russian authorities usually carefully filter such encounters, but apparently no one expected a child to dare tell the truth. Recall, some critically injured Russian soldiers who could have been saved are dying on the battlefield without ever receiving medical attention, according to a new investigation by the independent outlet Verstka. Even Defense Ministry doctors admit that the Army's medical care is poorly organized, with potentially savable soldiers not evacuated in time and others sent back to the front lines even when their treatment is unsuccessful. Medusa shares an abridged translation of the outlet's findings. Russia's defense ministry claims that Russian soldiers who are wounded on the battlefield receive prompt medical assistance. Officially, the mortality rate for these soldiers doesn't exceed 0.5% and continues to decline. However, these figures don't include soldiers who couldn't be evacuated from the battlefield in time, reports Verstka.
Zoran Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City on Tuesday, capping a stunning ascent for the 34-year-old, far-left state lawmaker, who promised to transform the government to restore power to the working class and fight back against a hostile Trump administration. According to Associated Press, with his commanding win, the Democratic Socialist will etch his place in history as the city's first Muslim mayor, the first of South Asian heritage and the first born in Africa. He will also become New York's youngest mayor in more than a century when he takes office on January 1st. Mamdani paid tribute to his supporters in his victory speech. "Thank you to those so often forgotten by politics of our city who made this movement their own," he said. "I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes. Aunties. This city is your city and this democracy is yours too," Mamdani said.
"I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refuse to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum. Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point, know this. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too. And while we cast our ballots alone, we chose hope together. Hope over tyranny. Hope over big money and small ideas. Hope over despair. We won because New Yorkers allowed themselves to hope that the impossible could be made possible. And we won because we insisted that no longer would politics be something that is done to us. Now it is something that we do. Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru. A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new. So let us speak now with clarity and conviction that cannot be misunderstood about what this new age will deliver and for whom. This will be an age where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve, rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt. Central to that vision will be the most ambitious agenda to tackle the cost of living crisis that this city has seen since